Great. So today I want to talk to you, global leaders, about the executive leadership optimization system. Many have asked, so what does this entail? What does this system entail? And I want to break it down a little bit for you to be able to take time to consider what that is. Think of ELOS as a systemized, synthesized group of habits that you have that have been put together, working together for your benefit to stop any leakage, in this case, financial leakage, for you or your organization. Now, think of ELOS as the set of behaviors or wheels or cog in the wheel that is turning behind the scenes to help you stop the leakage in your organization or in your own leadership so you can be effective in attaining the financial goals that you have. Because you see, it's not about how much money you make, it's about how much money you're able to keep. And if you have habits that prevent you from being effective in keeping the money that you make, then it's all a loss. So, what ELOS, no pun intended, is to be able to identify habits that you have and then synthesize them under your human physiology and your team engagement, if you have a team, and then your mental, spiritual balance. All these habits working together, synthesized, coached through, observable, and measurable to stop the leakage in your leadership so they can be effective and stop losing money. That's all ELOS is. Your health, physically, your team's health, and then your mental and spiritual health. That's it. So let's start by breaking it down. In each of these categories of human physiology, your team engagement, and your mental, physical balance. I meant mental, spiritual balance. We have a set of three bins or pillars into each of those that enable you then to get farther into the habits that you have in your leadership. And the first one in human physiology, with systems working together, examines three main core areas of your habits. Human physiology looks at your exercise, your food habits. What kind of food you eat, exercise habits, food habits, and then your sleep habits. And as we examine this, we enable you to look at that and say, where do I need to make tweaks so that I stop losing money? Losing money like going to the hospital too often, or giving all your money to the doctors, those kinds of things, or having to work on the kind of food that you're eating that makes you sick instead of making you healthy, or not exercising enough. Those kinds of habits are all looked at from a human physiology. And then we go into your team engagement. If you have a team or if you relate with people, and everybody relates to people, if you're a solopreneur or you're an executive or whomever you are as a leader, you have to engage with people. And that's what we mean by team engagement. Not necessarily as an organization, but somebody who relates with other leaders. You have to understand where there are gaps in your leadership from a relationship perspective. So we have three areas we look at, right? We are looking at your very first part is your behavior. Behavior. The second part is what? Your relationships. Relationships. Because you can't excel as a leader without having sound relationships. And what do you think, thirdly, the third thing is? Your service. Your service. How you relate to others in your heart of service. Because leadership is about service. Leadership is about servant, servant conduct. How you lead as a servant leader. And then we go to the mental, spiritual balance piece. And the three of those are, the very first of those are self-care. If you can't take care of yourself, you can't take care of anybody else. And then we have self-reflect. And then we have self-lead. Okay? So there we have it. ELOS is about understanding the need to look at your habits from a human physiology perspective, which involves exercise, food, and sleep, a team engagement perspective, which involves your behavior as a leader, your relationships with one another, and then your service to others, especially in a customer service environment, right? So that enables you to then consider, where am I losing money? Because little leakage of money here and there can ultimately become a very costly result of your bottom line. And then finally, your mental and spiritual balance refers to your self-care, your own self-reflection, and then your self-leadership. Hopefully that breaks it down. And each of these goes deeper into understanding specific attributes and characteristics of you as a leader so that we can then work on those habits specifically for your excellence. ELOS, human physiology, team engagement, mental and spiritual balance, working together as a system to help you excel in your leadership. Hopefully that breaks it down for you exactly what those are. And then if you want more details, continue to follow through in future videos so we can then talk about how you can excel in your leadership. Take care. Be well. And remember to lead the change.